If you watch this video till the end, I promise you'll be able to organize data and read any Excel sheet without getting confused. This isn't a boring advanced course. It's a complete beginner's guide for people who've never opened Excel before. I'll cover all the basics, simple tools, and important formulas you'll actually use. Plus, I'll explain everything in the easiest way with real examples. Even if you've hated Excel before, give this video a chance. By the end, you might actually enjoy it. So let's understand the layout first. When you open Excel, the first thing you see is a big grid. It's made up of rows and columns. Each rectangle you see is called a cell. Columns go vertically and are labeled with letters A, B, C, D. Rows go horizontally and are labeled with numbers 1, 2, 3, and so on. So if I say cell B2, it means the cell under column B and in row 2 where they meet. Every cell can store text, numbers, dates, formulas. Now, at the top of your Excel window, you'll see a set of tabs and buttons. This area is called the ribbon. The ribbon has different tabs like Home, Insert, Page Layout, and more. Each tab has useful tools and options that help you work faster in Excel. For example, on the Home tab, you'll find things like font styles, alignment, and number formatting. But don't worry if this seems overwhelming. We'll explore the ribbon in detail later. For now, just know that the ribbon is where most Excel features live, and you'll get comfortable using it step by step. Let's play with cells. Click on any cell. Let's pick C3. Type hello, or your favorite word. Press the Enter key, and you just put data into Excel. What if we make a mistake? Click the cell again and type something new. It erases the old text. To edit instead of replace, double-click the cell. Now you can fix just one letter, like fixing a spelling error. Let's add numbers. Excel can be your super smart math friend. Click on cell A1 and type 2. Click on cell B1 and type 2. Now, click on cell C1 and type equals A1 plus B1. Press Enter. Excel shows 4. But why the equals sign? It tells Excel that, hey, I'm not just typing words. I want you to do something. Let's make your Hello cell stand out. Click the cell with Hello. Look at the Home tab in the ribbon. Think of this like a toolbox. Find the paint bucket icon. Click it to change the cell's background color. Find the letter A with a red underline, and click it to change the text color. If you want to make your text bold, click on the letter B, and your text is now bold. Perfect to make headlines and highlight cells. Let's do a quick practice. In cell A2, type the word groceries. In cell B2, type price. Under groceries list, type apple and bread. Under price, type 5 and 4. Now to find the total price in this cell, type equals, then type B3 plus B4. And it will show you the addition of these cells B3 and B4. Even if you change the values in these cells now, you see the addition is changing automatically because it is adding these two cells even though you change the numbers. Now, if you type a text into it, it will not consider it because it is supposed to add numbers as a value and not texts. Now, in Excel, there are over 100 functions just like this, but every single one is either linked with other functions or has a completely different use. But don't worry, you don't need to study them all to get a job or become good at Excel. So this was our very first function that we used in Microsoft Excel. So now that you know how to do basic things like typing into a cell and using the sum formula, let me show you something super cool and super useful. It's called autofill. And trust me, once you know this trick, you'll be using it all the time. Imagine you've typed the number 1 in cell A1 and number 2 in cell A2. Now you want to continue this pattern, like 3, 4, 5, all the way down to 50. You don't need to type everything manually to 50. Here's the useful trick. Select both cells, A1 and A2. Now move your mouse to the bottom right corner of the selection and you'll see a tiny square there. That's called the fill handle. When your cursor turns into a small plus sign, click and drag it down. Excel automatically continues the pattern 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. This is called autofill, and it works with numbers, days, months, and even formulas. Let me show you another one. In cell B1, type Monday. Now drag that down using the same method. Excel will automatically fill Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like magic. You can even type Jan, drag down, and it will fill all the months till December. But wait, what if you just want to repeat the same value or the same text instead of creating a pattern? Easy. Just type something like apple in C1, then drag the cell down, and you'll see it copies apples into every cell. That's because there's no pattern here, you saw just one word. So Excel repeats it. Now here's the best part. You can even drag formulas. Let's say in A1 and B1 you typed numbers. And in C1 you typed A1 plus B1. Now just drag that formula down from the corner. And Excel will automatically update it for each row. So C2 will be A2 plus B2, C3 will be A3 plus B3, and so on till the end. That's how autofill helps you save time and avoid typing the same thing again and again. Now, let's say you have a lot of data in your sheet just like this, and you only want to see a particular set of data among all these rows. Let's say you want to find the names of students who have failed the exam, so you can maybe send an email to their parents about it. So here is when the filter option comes in use. Now select all the headlines of your data and click on Data. Now here you see an option called Filter. Just click on it, and now you see a small drop-down menu in the bottom right of the cell. If you click it, you will see all the details here in a filtered out way. Now let's first uncheck Select All, then let's choose Fail, as we want to see failures. Now here you get the data of all these students who are failing the exam. You can do the same with their countries too. Let's say you want to find how many people are from the United States. So let's click on the drop down for country, uncheck this, and choose USA. Now you see all these students are from the United States of America. In the same way, you can filter any column you want, maybe by subject, marks, or even by name. This helps a lot when you have a large sheet, and you only want to focus on specific information. Now, let's say you're done using the filter and want to see the full data again. Just go back to the same drop-down, and this time check Select All to bring back all the rows. And if you want to completely remove the filter, just click on the Filter button again in the Data tab, and it will go back to normal. So that's how the filter option works in Microsoft Excel. Super useful when you want to quickly sort or find specific data without manually scrolling through everything. Moving on, now let's say you type something really long here in this text, and it's not really fitting in the cell and exceeding out from it. Now, either you can manually expand the length of the column by stretching this column from here, or you can wrap this text and make it fit into the cell without stretching the column. So, for that, choose your cell with the long text, click on the Home tab, click on Wrap Text, and now you can see the text has been forced to fit into the cell, saving space and looking clean. Now let's say you have some data and you missed out on a whole column, or as per the new updates, you want to add a new column here in between of these two columns. You can just right-click on the top here and click on Insert. This will insert a whole new column for you to add more information in. The same works with rows. Right-click on any row and click Insert. It will add a complete blank row right above it. Now, let's say you're making some data yourself and you want to add a headline here, labeling this table as the student reports. If you write in the middle of all these cells like this, it looks very unprofessional and unclean. So for that, we use Merge and Center. Just select all these cells, go to the Home tab, and click on Merge and Center. Now you can see it has combined all these cells into one single cell. Now you can label this easily as the student reports, and put some colors into it to make it more visible. Now, let's say here you're managing this data of students who have either passed the test or failed the test, and we want all the students who failed to be easy to see. That means we have to highlight all the students who failed the exam with a color so they are more visible. But we cannot go cell by cell for every failed student and color every single cell with red color in it. That's donkey's work. Instead, we select the whole column by clicking on the letter of the column, click on Home, then click on Conditional Formatting. We click on Highlight Cell Rules and click on Equals to, and then write the word Fail here. And from here, you can choose a color of your preference like either light yellow or light green. Now you can also choose any color of your type from Custom Format. This, what we did right now, was formatting. And in this case, it is called conditional formatting when you have a condition and you want to format cells as per the given condition. Now let's say later some student's result gets updated. Maybe they reappeared for the test and now they've passed. All you have to do is just change fail to pass in that cell and the color disappears. Why? Because Excel is watching that cell. As soon as the word fail is not there anymore, it removes the formatting. That's the beauty of conditional formatting. It's smart, and it updates automatically based on the values. And you can do this with anything, not just pass or fail. You can highlight marks below 40. For that, select the whole column, then click on Home, click on Conditional Formatting, and now click on Lower Than and type 40 here. Excel will highlight all the cells with values less than 40. This way, you can highlight any cell. You just need to know what condition you want to apply, and Excel will take care of the rest. Also, if at some point you want to remove the formatting, just select the column, go back to Conditional Formatting, click on Clear Rules, and choose Clear Rules from selected cells. And that's it. Everything goes back to normal. So this is how you can visually organize your data and make sure the important stuff, like failing students, stands out immediately without wasting time. Now let's say here you're entering data manually and you're getting tired of typing the same thing again and again, like English or maths for every single student. And not just that, sometimes people type maths in all caps or make a spelling mistake. And now your data looks messy and inconsistent. So instead of typing it every time, we can make a small drop-down menu in every cell, where you just click and choose the correct option. This way, no spelling errors happen and your data stays clean and professional. So how do we do that? First, select the column or cells where you want this drop-down to appear. Let's say it's the result column. Now go to the Data tab on top and click on Data Validation. A small window will open up. Here, under Allow, choose List. Now in the source box, type the options you want to appear in the drop-down. Like this: Maths, Science, English. Make sure you type them separated by a comma and with correct spellings. Now press OK. And that's it. Now, if you click on any of those cells, you'll see a small arrow. Click that, and you can just select English or Maths or any subject directly. This is helpful when you're working in teams too. So, nobody types in random things and the data stays neat. You can use this for anything, like subjects, grades, status, whatever you want people to choose from a fixed list. And if later you want to remove this drop-down, just go back to the same Data Validation option and click on Clear All. This is called data validation using drop-down lists, and it's super useful when you want to maintain clean and error-free data. Now let's say you have this data here, and you want to add a small note or reminder on a particular cell. Maybe something like check attendance or needs recheck without changing the actual data. Instead of typing it in the cell, which can get messy, Excel has a feature called comments or notes for this. To add a comment, just right-click on the cell where you want to add it and click on the new comment or new note option. A small box will pop up where you can type your message. Once you're done, just click outside and you'll see a little red triangle on the top right corner of that cell. That means there's a comment or note there. Now, if you hover your mouse over that cell, the comment or note will appear for you to read. This is super useful when you want to remind yourself or inform someone else about something related to that data without messing up the table. And if you want to edit or delete that comment later, just right-click on the cell again and choose Edit Comment or Delete Comment. So comments and notes help you keep your sheet clean, but also give you a way to add extra info wherever you want. Now that you know how to filter and highlight your data and add a comment on it, let's learn another very useful feature called sorting. Sorting helps you organize your data in a specific order, so it becomes easier to read and analyze. Let's say you have this list of students with their marks, and you want to see who scored the highest marks or who scored the lowest. Instead of searching manually, you can quickly sort the data by marks. To do this, first select any cell in the column you want to sort. In this case, the Marks column. Then go to the Data tab at the top. Here, you'll see two buttons beside the Sort option, Sort A to Z, and Sort Z to A. Don't get confused by the letters. Sort A to Z means sorting numbers from smallest to largest, and Sort Z to A means sorting numbers from largest to smallest. So if you want to see the highest marks first, click on Sort Z to A. You will see your entire table rearranged, and now the student with the highest marks is at the top, and the student with lowest marks is at the bottom. If you want to see the lowest marks first, just click on Sort A to Z, and the data will rearrange again with the lowest marks at the top. This sorting works with text too. For example, if you want to sort the students by their names in alphabetical order, select any cell in the name column and click on Sort A to Z4, and you will get the names as per A to Z order. Or, if you want to, the reverse alphabetical order, click on Sort Z to A, and you get a reverse alphabetical order. One important thing: always make sure you select a cell inside your data table before sorting. Excel will automatically move all the data in the rows, so the information stays correct and doesn't get mixed up. Sorting helps you find important information quickly and keeps your data neat and organized. So, whenever you have a big list and want to arrange it in a certain way, sorting is your best friend. All right, now that you learned the basics of Excel, it's time to move on to some basic formulas you have to use in Excel. The first formula is called SUM. This formula adds a certain range of cells that you choose to add. Earlier, we learned to add two cells like typing equals to C2 plus D2. But now, we will learn to add multiple cells with the SUM formula. Look at this table here. We have students' names and their marks in three subjects: math, science, and English. Now let's say we want to find the total marks scored by Alice in all three subjects, and we want the result here. We can use the SUM formula here since we need to add multiple cells together, not just two. So type equals to SUM, and now with your mouse, select the range which we want to add like this and press enter. As you can see, we got the result for the sum of all these three cells. What about the rest of them now? Do we have to type the formula for all of them? No. Remember, we learned the autofill handle earlier in this video? So let's just move the cursor to the bottom right of the cell, and once we see the little plus sign, click and drag it down. And Excel will automatically add the formulas to all the corresponding cells. This formula can work both vertically and horizontally. Let's say you want to add all these marks for math only. So for that, just type equals to sum and choose the range and click enter. Now again, go to the bottom right of the cell and drag the autofill to the right now to copy-paste the formulas in those cells too. This was the sum formula and is very useful. Moving on to the next formula, we'll talk about the min and max formulas. These are super simple, but very useful when you want to find the lowest or highest value from a list of numbers. Now, say you're still working with the same student marks table we used before. Let's say you want to find the lowest marks scored in English. You can use the min formula. Here's how to do it. Click on the cell where you want the result. Type equals to min. Now select all the English marks. From Alice to Ethan, close the bracket and press enter, and Excel will show you the lowest value. In this case, it's 55. Now what if you want to know who scored the highest in science? Use the max formula. It works the same way. Type equals to max, select all the science marks, close the bracket, and press enter. And that's it. Excel will tell you the highest score from that column. So just remember, min finds the smallest number. Max finds the biggest number. Super useful when you're dealing with marks, salaries, prices, or anything with numbers. Let's talk about two very useful formulas in Excel, count and COUNTIF. These help you quickly count things in your data. And trust me, they're really easy to use. Let's start with count. Imagine you have a list of test scores like this. Now, say you want to know how many students actually have a number in the score column, not empty cells, and not words like fail. Here's where count comes in. Just click a blank cell and type equals to count, then select the range. This tells Excel to count only the cells in B2 to B8 that have numbers. In this example, Excel will count 90, 70, 85, 40, and 95. So it shows 5. Easy, right? Now let's move on to COUNTIF. It's like count but smarter. Say you want to count how many students scored above 80. In a blank cell, type equals to COUNTIF, select the range of cells, and type greater than 80. This tells Excel, count how many numbers in B2 to B8 are greater than 80. Here, that would be 90, 85, and 95, so it shows 3. This was count and COUNTIF function. The next formula is SUMIF and SUMIFS. So here you see, we have data of our products and the category of it, whether it's a clothing product or an accessories product. Now, let's say we only want to find the total sales of our clothing products and not the accessories. So for that, we use the SUMIF formula. Now here we will type equals to SUMIF. Then the lookup range where we want to find the word clothing, then type the word that you want to find. We will type clothing here. Then choose the range of the values that you want to add from and press enter. Now you see we have got the total of all sales of only the clothing category. Now, let's move a step further and learn about the SUMIFS function. This one is like SUMIF, but more powerful because it lets us add numbers based on more than one condition. So, using the same data, imagine we want to find the total sales of clothing products, but only those sales that are greater than 150. For this, we use the SUMIFS formula. Here's how we do it. We type equals to SUMIFS, then first the range of the values we want to add, which is the sales column. Next, we select the first criteria range where we want to check for the word clothing, then type the word clothing as the first condition. After that, We select the second criteria range where we want to put another condition, which is the sales column again, and type the second condition as greater than 150. Now press enter, and you see Excel adds the sales for clothing products, but only those where sales are above 150. So, in this case, it adds only jeans and hoodies, as they have above 150 in sales and are a clothing product, giving us the total 450. That's how the SUMIF and the SUMIFS function helps you add numbers based on multiple conditions in Microsoft Excel. The next formula is the IF formula. So what does the IF function mean? It means that if this is true, then type this, or if not, then type this. Let's learn from an example. So here we have a data of students, name, their marks, their city, and their age. Now we need to find how many of them have passed the test or failed the test. This is where the IF function is used. Here we will type, if the marks are lower than 10, then he is failing the exam. If not, then he has passed the exams. Now press enter. Now you see the student named Alice has passed the test. To see the data for all students, just drag this down and you will see all the data of past students and the failed students. Now, if you want to highlight all the students that have failed the exams, select the full range of pass and fail, and then click on Home. Then click on Conditional Formatting. Then click on Highlight Cell Rules. Then click on Equal to, and write the word Fail here. Now all the students who have failed the exams will be highlighted and easy to see. Now we need to find if the student is a local student from Mumbai, or if he is a non-local student. So for that, type if the city is equals to the word Mumbai. Then he is a local. Or if not, then he is a non-local student. Then press enter. Now you see the student Alice as a local student. Again, drag it down to see the data for all the students. Now let's find the adult students and the young students. So for that, we need to type if the age is lower than 21. Then he is young, else he is an adult. And enter. Now you see the student Alice is an adult student, and drag it down for the data of all students. So this was the function of the if function in Microsoft Excel. Now the next formula is the IFERROR formula. Let's say you're doing some calculations in Excel, but sometimes you get ugly errors like this or this. They don't look good, and honestly, they're not even easy to understand. That's where the IFERROR function comes in. What it does is simple. Instead of showing those confusing errors, you can display your own custom message. Let me show you with an easy example. Here we have some unclean data of the products selling, their units sold, and the revenue each product made. Now let's say we need to find the price of one unit, which is total sales divided by the total of the product sales. So let's just try to find the unit price for one, which is easy. Just divide the revenue by the sales and enter. As you can see, it is showing this error here because the revenue, which is 24, is not divisible by a text. So here comes the IFERROR function. Type IFERROR, then do the basic revenue, divide by the units sold, and then after that, you have to type the custom message that you want to see if it shows error, for example. I will just type not divisible here, then enter. Now you can see all the places where the calculation was not possible. It showed the error as not divisible. And that's it. You just made it through an entire beginner's guide to Excel. If you followed along till here, trust me, you now know more Excel than most people ever learn in school or college. You've learned how to read a sheet, clean up messy data, use basic tools, and even apply some of the most useful formulas. From here, All it takes is practice. Open Excel, try things out, mess around with data. That's how you'll get good at it. And if you want to go deeper, I'll be making more videos on slightly advanced stuff too. If you found this video helpful, consider dropping a like and subscribe for more knowledgeable videos. And if you have any questions or want me to cover something specific, just comment below. All right, see you in the next one.